the same language across board. Most of the people we found they were even talking about the draft bill. Some were talking about the one we passed before the president even returned it. Very few knew about the real act. So when we explained what was in the act, he said, but no, what we get is different. So we really need a very clear guidance to especially diplomatic mission. Honorable Flavia.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, on the issue of parliamentary diplomacy, which you have articulated very vividly, I thank you for that. However, I have a comment about that. The first thing is I belong to the IPU, the International Interparliamentary Union. Now, I've always battled with the question of where our allegiances lie in the international parliaments. For example, Right Honorable Speaker, Ugandans belong to different shades of political parties. And on every international parliament, there is different shades of political parties represented. Now, when you mention it here that whenever we go out there on those missions, we are fronting the interests or the key diplomatic missions of the country, I struggle with understanding the relevance of opposition political members on those particular parliaments internationally. The reason I bring this up is because sometimes while I would want to advocate and really push forward for the national diplomacies or national intentions of my country, sometimes I get to key issues like human rights issues, where there is obvious torture, where there is obvious violation of human rights. And as an opposition political member, we are discussing this internationally. And they've highlighted issues about Uganda vis-a-vis human rights torture. Meanwhile, the people I am with are saying, here we are representing national interests. Don't talk about human rights violations. So I start asking myself, if we are to represent the different shades that nominated us to be onto those parliamentary platforms, then how do we bring up these critical issues that affect ordinary Ugandans? Meanwhile, the president also came out clearly and said he doesn't agree with torture. So if I am to talk about the examples of people who have been tortured in my country at an international platform, why should I end up being stifled? Or an element of saying that you cannot be able to talk about any of this at this platform. So that's where, for me, I find that we have a challenge in international parliaments. Because yes, while I want to appreciate what Uganda has done, I also know that there are so many things that are not going right with my party. And at that level, I am presenting the different voices of Ugandans of the opposition. I am alone. So what happens if I don't talk about what really bothers them at that international platform? Or else we would then highlight and say international parliaments should be strictly for one political party that can always praising whatever is good or wrong. I beg for guidance there on that note. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Now, Honorable colleagues, just wait, Honorable Cecilia. Honorable colleagues, you see, when you have a delegation, you as a delegation, before setting off, you should first meet, look at the agenda, look at the issues, and you agree on how to handle those issues when you reach abroad. Okay? It doesn't have to be, because we are sending a delegation from the Parliament of Uganda. We are not sending a delegation from political parties in Uganda. That's at a certain level. So we send a delegation from the Parliament of Uganda. The Parliament might be having different interests, okay, representing different interests, but you sit down, you agree on it as a delegation. But colleagues, I wouldn't want to go that line. Would be really going far. This is delegation per delegation. But I think what we will do at a leadership level, we can discuss this and we guide the members. But Honorable Cecilia wanted to say something on it. Honorable Cecilia had asked procedure. Honorable Cecilia had asked procedure.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I just want to make a clarification based on the statement made by our colleague who just spoke before your intervention. Right Honorable Speaker, this is a matter which I think we need to sit down as a parliament and talk among ourselves and agree. We carry different identity when we are outside the country. When we are here, we are Ugandans, and we can speak like Ugandans. I can decide to speak in Langi now if I want. Yeah, because I'm in Uganda. If you say you are not understanding, I will say you are stupid. Why do you want me to speak Luganda when you can't speak Langi? Because we are speaking in Uganda. But when we are outside there, nobody knows Langi, nobody knows Baganda, nobody knows what. So we have to tell I'm not asking anybody to upload what I'm saying. I just want you to understand what I'm saying. Order. Right Honorable Speaker, the thing is we all face challenges. And I think I'm not wrong when I say so many of you jump into position without even understanding what we are supposed to be doing. No, I'm not saying, listen, no. Right Honorable Speaker, if there is anybody, I am a very loud and clear opposition member in this country. Everybody else followed my voice. You were all in one stage or another. You were a member of NRM. Sit down. Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable
Speaker.
Stop harassing Honorable Cecilia Ogwal.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Conclude, Honorable.
Right Honorable Speaker. We need space in order to understand what we are supposed to do outside the country. This is what I'm just pleading. We need to understand each other. We can still tell the truth that we are all struggling with democracy. We are all educating ourselves about democracy. But we should not be judged by the same standard. We must understand the benchmark. We find that even the Americans are failing on that mark. Even those we consider to be mature Democrats are also failing. So please let us not be judged wrongly. When I speak the way I should speak in a clear manner, it doesn't mean that I'm supporting the government. It doesn't mean that I'm speaking for Uganda. So when Uganda was being condemned for not ratifying the Human Rights Charter in Pan-African Parliament, I had to mobilize my troop to get out so that we go and discuss other things. We could not stand Uganda being singled out as one of the countries which had not rectified the Human Rights Charter. And I'm there listening. It is not right. So in a way, really, we have to know how to deal with our own internal matters internally and how to deal with Ugandan matters outside the country. So Right Honorable Speaker, I beg, I will accept your order. I will accept your order.
Kind of conclude.
No, I will accept her order because when she's 70 years, I will want her to speak my language.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will accept her order.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues, no, Honorable Flavia, it's not Honorable Cecilia Ogwal who aroused the point of order, it's the speaker. So